the trade partnership. When she talked to the Iowa farmer today, back in March of this year, they said, what are the top issues for you right now? She talked about 4 of them. One of them was the Trans-Pacific Partnership. She said, it's a trade agreement. It's being discussed. I do think we'll get a chance to vote on it. I tend to be supportive of that bill. Well, Donald Trump has said for the last 30-some-odd years he doesn't like NAFTA, he doesn't like the trade deals we're getting, and this is getting far, far worse with this. This is not even a trade deal. This is a loss of sovereignty, the management of our economy by an offshore cartel that is unaccountable to any nation state, okay? There's no democratic process involved in this. Senator Sessions, who's been the close advisor to Donald Trump, has explained this to him since last August. Joni Ernst is thoroughly in the tank for that. It's one of her top 4 priorities, she said, just back in March. Then she talked about something else that Donald Trump hasn't talked too much about, but certainly I don't like. And because she sees herself as the face of big agra, she wants to push through a GMO bill, the DARK Act, as we call it, which will basically shut down any state legislatures from saying we want to have our food labeled to know if it's got GMO in it. Exactly what you would expect from somebody coming from Iowa, which is a big corn-producing state, which is where so much of the GMO products is coming from. They don't want you to know what you're eating. They don't want this label there. They're ashamed of it. They're embarrassed by it. They want to lie to you, just as Hillary Clinton does. And so it's a good thing, I think, that there's been not a meeting of the minds. Hopefully, we're going to have the same type of thing happening with some of these other candidates. I'm very concerned to see Newt Gingrich cozying up so much to Donald Trump, because Newt Gingrich is a thorough globalist. Also in news, we see that Congress is going to summon the FBI director to explain why there's not going to be any charges brought before Clinton. Okay? And understand this. When we talked to Lionel yesterday, Leanne McAdoo and I interviewed him on the Nightly News. And he made a very good point as a former prosecutor. We said, he said no reasonable prosecutor would bring charges. Well, here's a reasonable prosecutor, Lionel, because he actually believes in the rule of law, even though he didn't want to see Hillary Clinton go to jail, even though he is supportive of some of the liberal issues. He has criticized SCOTUS and criticized this decision. He said, look, I used to be a prosecutor. This is like a police chief holding a press conference and saying, district attorney, don't you dare indict this person. That's not the job of the police chief. He's supposed to be an investigator. I want to finish up with what I was about to say about Hillary Clinton and FBI Director Comey. He has been told that the Congress would like to talk to him tomorrow. They'd like to have a sit down and say, please explain to us not only the double talk, but the double think behind saying that Hillary Clinton committed all these felonies, okay? 110 emails that were classified, he admits, that were sent and received as classified. And then, of course, there were thousands more they say were classified later. And we've talked about that, how if she has a conversation with another head of state, another State Department official in another country, those are born classified. Now, she can start sending out emails about that right away before somebody in the State Department takes a look at the content and says, wait a minute, that should be secret, top secret, above top secret. And that's the prevarication that she was allowed to get away with. But at the very least, he said, look, there's 110 of these things, okay? And when I heard this, I told my wife, I said, I can't believe it. He's going to indict her. But then he lays out the criminal charges and says, never mind. But don't you try this at home, because we'll send you to jail. And we talked a little bit about some of the really egregious prosecutions that have happened with this. But they said today that they want FBI Director James Comey to go before Congress tomorrow to explain his decision that he's not recommending criminal charges. And again, as Lionel pointed out yesterday, a former prosecutor, why would the investigator tell the prosecutors, the judges, what to do? And he pointed out, he says, look, he's giving political cover to Loretta Lynch. He's saying nobody in their right mind would do it, so of course Loretta Lynch won't do it. They're covering for each other, folks. It's just disgusting to see this. And one of the things that was interesting was even Paul Ryan got in on this and said that Mrs. Clinton should be barred from receiving classified information. Now, all of you who are shaking your heads in derision and poo-pooing this on the left, let me just remind you, when this happened to Deutsch, John Deutsch, okay? He was the CIA director under Bill Clinton, and this was like 20 years ago, right? So 1995 to 96. When he left in 96, they found that he had taken documents home to his residence, to his office. He had them on a computer that was not secure, and they came after him very hard. And one of the things that they did was they suspended his clearance. Washington Post reported this back in August of 1999, and he didn't have a problem with it. Deutsch said at the time, he said, while serving as director of Central Intelligence, I erred in using CIA-issued computers that were not configured for classified work to compose classified documents and memoranda. He said, while it was absolutely necessary for me to work at home and while on travel, in hindsight, it's clear that I should have insisted that I be provided the means of accomplishing this work in a manner fully consistent with security rules. This was Bill Clinton's CIA director, who he subsequently had to pardon to keep the guy from going to jail. So clearly they know this. And so it's not out of line at all for Paul Ryan and others to say Hillary Clinton should be barred from handling classified information because she's extremely careless with it. I would say grossly negligent, because that's basically the two of those things are indistinguishable from each other. Okay, that's a distinction without a difference, to say that she's grossly negligent or extremely careless. And understand that when the Inspector General was looking at Deutsch and investigating him, he said he criticized CIA officials because he said they didn't submit the reports on a timely basis. He said there's reasonable basis to believe that Deutsch's mishandling of classified information violated the standards prescribed and that it had the result of delaying a prompt and thorough investigation. Delayed? He was charged within 10 days. They didn't go in and say to his lawyers, would you please review his personal effects and tell us which ones we're going to be allowed to see and which ones we're not going to be allowed to see, as they did with Hillary Clinton?
Ladies and gentlemen, the fix is in. Hillary Clinton, the establishment puppet candidate for president, has been cleared of all charges by the FBI. This just days after Bill Clinton met secretly with Attorney General Loretta Lynch on a private plane. Look, this woman is a criminal. She destroyed subpoenaed evidence. I mean, this has already been established, and doing so is a felony crime. The FBI knows it, the media knows it, and the public knows it. So it's not a matter of if Hillary Clinton is guilty. It's a matter of why she isn't being tried and convicted.
This investigation began as a referral from the Intelligence Community Inspector General in connection with Secretary Clinton's use of a personal email server during her time as Secretary of State. The referral focused on whether classified information was transmitted on that personal system. Our investigation looked at whether there is evidence that classified information was improperly stored or transmitted on that personal system in violation of a federal statute that makes it a felony to mishandle classified information, either intentionally or in a grossly negligent way.
I did not email any classified material to anyone on my email. There is no classified material.
From the group of 30,000 emails returned to the State Department in 2014, 110 emails in 52 email chains have been determined by the owning agency to contain classified information at the time they were sent or received.
The facts are pretty clear. I did not send nor receive anything that was classified at the time.
8 of those chains contained information that was top secret at the time they were sent.
Well, first let me say that I am confident that I never sent nor received any information that was classified at the time it was sent and received.
36 of those chains contained secret information at the time, and 8 contained confidential information at the time.
I never sent or received any classified material.
With respect to the thousands of emails we found that were not among those produced to the State Department, agencies have concluded that 3 of those were classified at the time they were sent or received, 1 at the secret level and 2 at the confidential level.
And most importantly, I never sent classified material on my email, and I never received any that was marked classified.
There is evidence that they were extremely careless.
So I'm certainly well aware of the classification requirements and did not send classified material.
7 email chains concern matters that were classified at the top secret special access program at the time they were sent and received.
When I got to work as Secretary of State, I opted for convenience to use my personal email account.
Any reasonable person in Secretary Clinton's position or in the position of those with whom she was corresponding about those matters should have known that an unclassified system was no place for that conversation.
They are retroactively classifying it.
In addition to this highly sensitive information, we also found information that was properly classified as secret by the U.S. intelligence community at the time it was discussed on email. That is, excluding any later up-classified emails.
It had numerous safeguards. It was on property guarded by the Secret Service.
None of these emails should have been on any kind of unclassified system. But their presence is especially concerning because all of these emails were housed on unclassified personal servers, not even supported by full-time security staff, like those found at agencies and departments of the United States government, or even with a commercial email service like Gmail.
I did not send classified material, and I did not receive any material that was marked or designated classified, which is the way you know whether something is.
But even if information is not marked classified in an email, participants who know or should know that the subject matter is classified are still obligated to protect it.
The use of that server, which started with my husband, certainly proved to be effective and secure.
We do assess that hostile actors gained access to the private commercial email accounts of people with whom Secretary Clinton was in regular contact from her personal account.
It was reported on INFOWARS.com that your email server was hacked and you knowingly continued to use your email server. Can you comment on that?
Yeah, it's totally untrue.
She also used her personal email extensively while outside the United States, including sending and receiving work-related emails in the territory of sophisticated adversaries.
There were no.
I'm Margaret Howell in downtown Austin reporting for INFOWARS.com. I'm here in the streets trying to get everyday opinions related to the FBI's decision not to charge Hillary Clinton with that crime related to those scandalous emails. Tell me what you think about Hillary Clinton.
As a human or a politician?
They decided yesterday that charges are not going to be brought against her, nothing to see here, no wrongdoing.
That's hypocritical.
I don't trust her as far as I could throw her.
How far could you throw her?
Not very far.
When you look what Donald Trump's been doing nonstop, he's been hurting people on purpose. And if she made a mistake, it wasn't on purpose.
You think Donald Trump's been hurting people on purpose?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I like her a lot.
You do?
Oh, yeah. I'm with her.
Can you say that to my camera?
I'm with her.
I mean, honestly, the best part of you asking me these questions is I'm a communist.
Oh.
Yes. Do I like Hillary? Well, you know, Hillary's not a communist, so I don't see your correlation.
So you think Hillary Clinton sucks?
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, she's a communist.
I had another lady up here just a second ago who was a communist, and she said she didn't like Hillary because she wasn't a communist.
Well, her opinion.
Is there anything that she could do to make you not vote for her?
Murder somebody on 5th Street?
Absolutely, completely new to me. I'm so sorry.
No opinion over Hillary Clinton whatsoever?
I prefer her to Trump. Can I go for that?
You said the system was rigged. Why?
Because if you have enough money, you can get away with about anything you want to.
You think she's too big to go to jail?
I do. I think she has enough bodies buried that they'll never be able to get her.
So it's good enough that she's a girl, basically.
Woman, yes it is.
She's too big to go to jail. She knows too many people that can get her out of something. And
are you a Trump supporter?
Yeah, I don't believe in some of the stuff he does, but I agree with him on some things. I'm Hispanic, and I don't think it's wrong for him to say illegals should be sent back.
Oh, Hillary Clinton absolutely, positively is a liar.
There you go. What do you think about Hillary Clinton's email scandal? Did you follow that?
Yes. I think she's a dirty scumbag.
Yeah, I don't really know much about it. All I know is it's bad.
Is she bad?
You know, she doesn't mean to be bad, but the decisions she does and the things she does probably isn't good.